So, very good afternoon to my dear students. And we will start with the next unit of your syllabus, that is discrete Fourier transforms. And in continuation with this DFT, we are having fast Fourier transforms FFT. Fast Fourier transforms FFT. So, DFT, by the name, what happened, Jaya? By the name, we can find out the full form, discrete Fourier transforms. And why we are discussing this? Because we are discussing all the discrete signals which are processed through DSP. So we should know the Fourier transform techniques, how these discrete signals can be transformed from one domain to other domain, and how it is easy, and how we should start with DFT. So discrete finite periodic signal is x of n, and discrete finite periodic signal x of k. What is n and what is k? A finite or periodic sequence is only n unique values. We all know that x-axis consists of n number of samples and the amplitude is there on the y-axis, that is x of n. Spectrum is completely defined by n distinct frequency samples. Divide 0.2 pi into n equal steps. Divide 0.2 pi, divide 0 to 2 pi into n equals steps. So I will get omega k is equal to 2 pi k by n. We all know that frequency omega is 2 pi f. F here is again splitted into k by n. This is very important factor. K by n. N are the total number of samples and k is a integer whose value will change depending on the signal. So omega k is given by 2 pi k by capital N. So you have learned, I think DTFT you have studied in second year. DTFT is discrete time Fourier transform, which will generate the Fourier transforms in discrete time sequence, DTFT. Clear? And what we are doing here, we are generating a discrete Fourier transforms. That means it will generate a specific or very refined form of discrete signal. This DTFT can produce a continuous domain signal at the output. So what is the relation between DTFT and DFT? Uniform sampling of DTFT spectrum x of k is equal to x of e to the power j omega, where omega is given by 2 pi k by n. So x of e j omega is given by Nikhil Koiwal and Amisha. Okay, have you joined Nikhil, Amisha? Okay. So where omega is now, initially omega was only by 2 pi k. Now again we are sampling this to get omega for DFT, 2 pi k by n. So my final output is n is equal to 0 to n minus 1 limits x of n e to the power minus j 2 pi k capital N upon n, small n. Okay, so DFT is now defined as, this is my DFT, not DTFT. X of k is equal to summation x of n w kn upon n. What is w? W is my Twiddler factor given by e to the power minus j 2 pi is my Twiddler factor, and rest factors we are denoting in suffix and prefix of w n kn. It is always written like this, w n kn. It is known as Twiddler factor and it is defined by this, e to the power minus j 2 pi by n. That is 1 by nth of a revolution, Twiddler factor. So now I will compare DFT and DTFT. So what was DTFT? Discrete time Fourier transform. C. Continuous frequency domain omega. Infinite x of n. The equation x e to the power j omega is equal to summation n is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of n e to the power minus j omega n is my DTFT signal, which is continuous in frequency domain and infinite in time domain. Okay, and DFT is refined to get discrete frequency domain in the form of capital K, and sequence is now finite. It will vary from only 0 to n minus 1. Sequence is finite. DFT samples DTFT at discrete frequencies. X of k difference क्या आया है यहाँ पे अब? Difference is that x of k is equal to x of e to the power j omega. Clear? Where omega is 2 pi k by capital N. Now what is the difference? X of e j omega is a continuous sample domain you will get at the output. Now we are sampling this to get a particular discrete signal. In the graph you can see this is my omega axis, this is my y axis. So x of e j omega DTFT represent this envelope, red line. So you are getting continuous signal, and when I will refine it in terms of k, when I will take its DFT, I will get this samples. So to get exact discrete signals, I have to perform DFT of signal. X of e j omega will give you the envelope. X of k will give you exact samples of the signal. And now inverse DFT, Ritika. Ritika, have you joined the class? Guys, students are leaving and again they are asking to join. Okay, inverse DFT, IDFT, x of n is equal to 1 upon n. Summation k is equal to 0, n minus 1, x of k, w of n minus n of k. And you can replace this w by e to the power minus j 2 pi by n. Okay, you can replace this also. So what is the difference between DFT and IDFT? Here you are getting minus sign. Okay, here you are getting minus sign, and the ratio is divided by 1 by n. The ratio is divided by 1 by n. So it is very easy to remember. This is totally mathematical unit. You will require calculator to simplify the questions, and we will simplify the questions in the class. So be ready with your copy and calculator. Without that, you can't perform a single numerical of DFT, and it's very lengthy also. The numericals are lengthy, so they generally comes for marks of 15 or 20 marks. So this is the equation of IDFT. Clear? Problems with DFT, we will simplify some numerical, but we should know what is the computation problem associated with the DFT. Although DFT is a computable transform, the straightforward implementation is a very inefficient, especially when the sequence length n is large. See, you can see that these equations are not that easy to simplify because we have to calculate e to the power j 2 pi k upon capital N into small n for every small n. जैसे जैसे n चेंज होगा मुझे इसकी सबकी वैल्यूज फाइंड करनी पड़ेगी, and again I have to find the values with respect to k also. K varies from 0 to 10, so for at k equals to 0, x of 0, k equals to 1, I have to find x of 1, then I will add all the values of x of k. So computation is not that easy for DFT and IDFT. The direct computation of n-point DFT requires n 2 complex multiplications. 2n complex multiplication it requires. You can see from the equation. You can see from the equation that how many computational elements it requires. Then it requires complex multiplications and complex additions. So it is not that easy to simplify this equation by using only calculators. Clear? So to compute all n values of DFT, it requires n2 complex multiplication and 2n minus n complex additions. So this is the major drawback of DFT. So we will shifting towards FFT. So right now first we will discuss DFT only. See, this diagram illustrates you types of transform and exam signal. Fourier transforms. What the Fourier transforms gives you at the output, they provides you the signals which are continuous and periodic. On that you can perform Fourier transform and the output looks like this. Fourier transforms. Fourier series, for a periodic signal I can use Fourier transform. For periodic signals which are continuous in time domain, I have to perform Fourier series and the output looks like this. Then discrete time Fourier transforms, I get sample values like this, but it is not totally discrete in nature. Clear? It is used for a periodic signal. If I'm having periodic signals and are discrete, then DFT I can apply and DFT will produce result like this. So here we are finding DFT of signal. Time domain and frequency domain representation. This is my time domain input signal. Okay, x of n point DFT running from 0 to n minus 1. Clear? N number of samples are given to you and I have to find its forward DFT. So in the time domain, x of n denotes consists of n points running from 0 to n minus 1, where I will take its DFT. In the frequency domain, the DFT produces two signals. The real part written as real x of k and the imaginary part as imaginary x of k. Each of the frequency domain signals are n by 2 plus 1 samples points running from 0 to n by 2. Clear? Because it is divided in 2, तो n by 2 होगा तुम्हारा output में signal. The forward DFT transforms from time domain to frequency domain. This we all know. And the inverse DFT transforms from the frequency domain to the time domain. And why we generally perform these transforms? Because if I want to find the system response, I have to multiply two signals, x of n and h of n. I can't directly multiply the two signals because we have to perform convolution. Convolution steps are again not that easy to calculate. So what I will do, I will first transform that into frequency domain and directly I will multiply the two signals to find the system response. Clear? So the frequency domain contains exactly the same information as a time domain, just in a different form. That is, same information will remain same because same contents we have to extract at the output, just we are changing the domain of representation. Input domain is your time domain and output is your frequency domain. If you know one domain, you can calculate the other. Given the time domain signal, the process of calculating the frequency domain is called decomposition, analysis, or the forward DFT, or simply DFT. If you know the frequency domain, what we will do, I want to calculate it in time domain, I will do synthesis, which is known as inverse DFT. Okay, the number of samples in the time domain is usually represented by the variable n, which we have seen in the expression of DFT. So the number of samples is represented in the time domain capital N and is a positive integer and usually a power of 2. So it could be 128, 256, 4.8.2 to the power. Okay. So that many DFTs you can find out. The digital data storage uses binary addressing, making powers of 2 a natural signal length. Second, the most efficient algorithm for calculating the DFT is the FFT, usually operates with capital N, that is a power of 2. The DFT changes an n-point time domain signal into an n-point frequency domain signal. This is referring to the complex DFT, where each point is a complex number. This is just a little bit theory of your DFT. So digital computation, the analog values have to be sampled at regular intervals, and the sample values are converted to a digital binary representation by using ADC. See, in communication, you are using analog to digital conversion. So how you will convert the analog signal into digital one? By using DFTs. The analog values can be sampled by using DFTs. So this is the exact formula for DFT. फॉर्मूला तुम लोगों ने कॉपी में लिख लिया है क्या? Because that is very important. So please, if you haven't written, write down the formula in your copies. DFT, DTFT. This is the exact formula of DFT. Please, student, write down these formulas because you have to simplify the numerical. Theory is very less. Yes, student, please reply. I'm waiting for your response. Have you written this equation DFT, IDFT in terms of E and in terms of W? Okay. So be fast to respond. Now we will discuss just the properties of DFT. See, a theory question can be asked, what is DFT, and mention all the properties of DFT or any 5 properties, or sometimes they can ask you for specific properties. So you have to remember all the properties and you have to mug up. So first property is symmetry. What do you mean by symmetry? The signals should have symmetry property. Real x of n minus k is equal to real x of k. So x of k should be same as sum of the value of n minus k, n times shifted signal. Next is your Parseval's theorem. The normalized energy in the signal is given either by this expression. Parseval's theorem tells you the sequence is converted. That means it will give you the complex conjugate of the signal. I will show you the properties in detail. Just wait. I will open my next slides. See, properties you will study from this. So write down the next property, periodicity. Just write down the names. If you can write the equation, it's very good. If you can't write, then just write down the name. So periodicity, if x of k is an n-point DFT, it should be periodic at particular period. So x of n plus n should be equals to x of n. This is periodicity, means it will repeat itself after certain amount of interval. Second property, linearity. If x1 of k and x2 of k are the n-point DFTs of x1n and x2 of n, respectively, then A and B are arbitrary constants, either real or complex valued, which will be multiplied at the input side. Same coefficients should be there at the output side. So this is the linearity property. You can see we all know linearity because we have studied linear time invariant systems. So we all know this property. Next is shifting property. If xp of n is a periodic sequence with period n, which is obtained by extending x of n periodically. So shifting, if I am shifting the input signal, output generated should be shifted by that much amount of time. Okay. So see, here it is not a simple linear convolution. DFT produces your circular convolution. It produces a circular shift in the output. So this point we all have to remember. DFTs can be easily simplified by circular convolution. I think you have studied linear convolution. Convolution have you studied in your second year? So what here we are doing, whenever we are shifting a signal in after performing Fourier transform DFTs, the signal obtained, the finite duration sequence is x of n, x p of n, otherwise it's 0 for this limit, can be obtained from x of n by a circular shift. The circular shift of a sequence can be represented as the index modulo n. Whenever we are using circular shifting, it is always represented by the index modulo capital N. So जितनी भी shifting होगी उसको तुमको लिखना है mod n. So output signal will be x dash of n after shifting, x of n minus k comma mod n comma modular n. Now shift the sequence here. I have mentioned everything. Shifting the sequence will generate xp of n. So the resultant signal is xp of n. After shifting, x of n will be equal to xp dash of n can be obtained from x of n. So this x of n is a shifted version. How it is shifted? It is shifted in a circular way. So it is always mentioned as index modulo n. So you will always write shifted signal x dash of n is equal to x of n minus k mod n. Next property is the time reversal of a sequence. So if x of n DFT is x of k, clear, then x of minus n mod n time reversal minus n हो गया यहाँ पे signal, clear, will be equal to x of n minus n. It means this x of mod हमें हम apply करना है in all the time properties, shifting properties. So x of minus n, how much time reversal? Mod n. So I will write x of n minus n. These both are the representation. In both ways you can write. If I will take DFT of this, what I will get? Same time reversal I will get at the output. So x of minus k mod capital N, or it is equal to x of n minus k. When the n point sequence is in time is reversed, it is equivalent to reversing the DFT values. Clear? When the n point sequence in time is reversed, this is time, this is frequency, so it is reversing the same values at the output. Next, circular time shift. X of n DFT x of k. We all know simple x of n का DFT लिया तो x of k मिलेगा. If circular time shift x of n minus l, यहाँ पे क्या था? x of minus n time reversal. Here circular time shift x of n minus l mod n से मैंने उसको shift किया. What I will get? I will get x of k e to the power minus j 2 pi k और एक्स्ट्रा टर्म हमारी कौन सी ऐड हुई है, L अपॉन N. Clear? Because it is circular shifted. It is circularly shifted. So circular shifting parameter is L. Shifting of the sequence by L units. Shifting of the signals by L unit. Shifting of the signal by L units in the time domain is equivalent to multiplication of this in the frequency domain. See why we are studying the property, because in numerical somewhere it is required to use this properties. Then if I know directly ki what will be happening after this property, what will be the output, I can directly write the answers. Otherwise, I have to simplify whole DFT after circular shifting, and then I will come to know that this should be the answer. And if I remember, then it becomes easy. कि डायरेक्टली सर्कुलर शिफ्ट हो रहा है तो मुझे आउटपुट में एक्स ऑफ के फाइंड करके उसके साथ इसको मल्टीप्लाई करना है. दैट विल बी माय आउटपुट. इज इट क्लियर? सर्कुलर फ्रीक्वेंसी शिफ्ट. So here what is happening, x of n dft x of k, x of n e to the power j सर्कुलर फ्रीक्वेंसी शिफ्ट. e to the power मैंने इनपुट में ही मल्टीप्लाई कर दिया है फॉर सर्कुलर फ्रीक्वेंसी शिफ्ट. what I will get at the output, I will get x of k minus L mod n. So this is just, we can say, a reversal of circular time shift. सर्कुलर टाइम शिफ्ट की रिवर्स प्रॉपर्टी होगी सर्कुलर फ्रीक्वेंसी शिफ्ट. ठीक है, रिवर्स मीन फ्रॉम टाइम डोमेन टू फ्रीक्वेंसी, फ्रॉम फ्रीक्वेंसी टू टाइम. सो एक्स ऑफ एन को मैंने इस पैरामीटर से मल्टीप्लाई किया, आई विल गेट एक्स ऑफ के माइनस एल इनटू मॉड ऑफ एन. हेंस when the sequence x of n is multiplied by the complex exponential sequence, this it is equivalent to circular shift. It is equivalent to circular shift of the DFT by L units in the frequency domain. Clear? So you have to remember this properties, equations, if a theoretical question is asked. Next, complex conjugate property. We all know there exists for a signal complex conjugate x's. So x of n dft will be x of k. Then x conjugate n will give you dft x star of minus k mod n. x star n is this. x star n में इस तरीके से लिखूंगी, x star of minus k mod n और x star n minus k. I have to remember this thing. X of n, x star of n. If I will take DFT of x star of n, I will get x star n minus k at the output. X star k IDFT equation will be the inverse of that. So x star minus n mod n will be equal to x star n minus n at the input. And if I will take DFT of that, I will get x star of k. Next, circular convolution, which is very important because numerical can be asked to perform circular convolution of a signal to get DFT. x1 of n DFT, you will get x1 of k. x2 of n DFT, at the output you will get x2 of k. Then x1 of n This is a circle, and in that circle capital N is written. That is my denotion of circular convolution. X1 convolution, X2. Okay, X1 circular convolution, X2. X1 circular convolution, X2. So output will be whenever I am performing convolution in the time domain, the signals will be convoluted. In the frequency domain, they will be directly multiplied. So x1 of k, x2 of k. x1 of k, x2 of k. Where x1n convolution, x2n denotes the circular convolution. Here, this circle with capital N denotes the circular convolution of the sequence x1n and x2n, defined as x3 of n. Where I require this property whenever I am finding out the system response. That means input multiplied by other input to generate the output. X1n multiplied by H1n to get Y1 of n. So there I have to perform convolution. So it will generate third output, that is X3 of n. So how I will write that equation? We all know simple linear convolution equation. Y of n is equal to summation x of k into h of n minus k. This was a simple equation of my linear convolution. Now I am performing circular convolution, so equation will be changed in terms of modular. So m is equal to 0 to n minus 1. x1 of m, this n domain has changed to m. जैसे हम linear convolution में change करते हैं n को k से, x of k. Okay, so here I have changed it by n to m. x3 of n is equal to summation, your limit lies from 0 to n minus 1, x1 of m, clear, x1 of m, x2 of n minus m, h minus k I used to write if you remember, so n minus m comma mod n, this many times it is shifted, mod n, circular, this is for circular, mod capital N. So I will get the equation at the output. So this is my x3 of n, circular convolution. Circular correlation. Correlation means how much the two signals are correlated to each other. That means how much is the similarity property of those signals. Cross correlation means how much dissimilar they are. Cross correlation. So x of n dft x of k, y of n dft y of k. Okay, for complex valued sequences x of n and y of n, the circular correlation is given by this. Rxy of L. You have to remember, if in the books it is written as Rxy of L, that represents the circular cross correlation sequence. Rxy of L. Is the circular cross correlation sequence given as, and the property is known as circular correlation. So I will get at the output after performing DFT capital R xy of k, which is equal to, you can see, x k y complex conjugate k. And Rxy equation is given by this. What it is given by Rxy? xn into yn. yn का क्या है, मेरा कॉम्प्लेक्स कॉन्जुगेट है, तो y star n minus l mod n. See, equations are very simple to remember. Very simple to remember. It is not that tough. You have to write for all circular properties mod n. You have to write. यहाँ पे मैंने शिफ्ट किया था l, यहाँ डिनोट किया क्रॉस कोरिलेशन के लिए, तो n माइनस l आएगा y के साथ and x of n. So this is circular correlation property. Next is multiplication of two sequences. Students, anything you want to ask? See, these properties, we don't have to simplify numericals based on these properties. Just you have to remember these are the properties of DFTs. It's not that tough to remember also, because it needs little bit of practice to remember. So the last property is your multiplication of two sequences and Parseval's theorem. Multiplication of two sequence, we all know we can't directly multiply DFT of two signals. दो सिग्नल है मेरे पास. First what I will do, I will find out DFT of both the signals. Otherwise, what I will do in time domain, I will perform this. What is this? Circle, and n represents circular convolution. So in time domain, x1 and x2n multiplied here, what I will get? 1 by n I have to remember over here. 1 by n x1 of k circular convolution x2 of k. x1 and x2n I can't multiply directly, I have to find circular convolution. At the output, 1 by n x1 of k convolution x2 of k. Last is Parseval's theorem. This expression relates the energy in the finite. Parseval's theorem mein what we are doing? We are finding out the energy of the sequence in the finite duration to the power in the frequency component. So how energy is converted into power in the frequency domain. So that is my Parseval's theorem. Xn DFT x of k, yn DFT y of k. Now I will find out xn y complex conjugate n will lead to this equation if y of n is equal to x of n, then the above equation reduces to y of n, x of n both are equal. X of n, x star of n will generate xn square, magnitude xn square, and similarly here I will get 1 by n xk square. So this expression relates the energy in the finite duration sequence x of n to the power in the frequency component x of k. So Parseval theorems relates, after finding out, it relates energy and power of input and output signal. And what is the condition? Y of n should be equal to x of n. Y of n should be equal to x of n. So in next class, what is to be done? We will calculate some numericals. So be ready with the calculators, because step by step I will tell you and you have to perform the operations. So then we will simplify the numerical in next class. So all the properties, basics of DFT, and it is evaluated from DTFT. It can be correlated with Z transforms. DTFT and Z transform can be applied to any arbitrary sequence. Okay, but DFT can be applied only to finite length sequence. So you can write some differentiation points also. So DTFT and Z transform can be applied to any arbitrary sequence, but DFT is only applied for finite duration sequence. DFT is itself a sequence rather than a function of continuous variable. It corresponds to equally spaced frequency sample of DTFT of signal. Clear? And DFT is concerned with frequency domain sampling of an aperiodic finite energy sequence. And this is the definition of DFT. Let Xn be a finite duration sequence. N point DFT of the sequence is given by this equation. नहीं लिखी हो तो वापस लिख लो students. This is the equation of DFT. And this is equation of DTFT. IDFT, sorry. So we will continue next class. So DFT, IDFT, clear, and it is evoluted from DTFT, discrete time Fourier transform, or simply it is known as Fourier transforms, which we have simplified earlier in the first chapter. Also we have studied LTI systems. There also we have find out the Fourier transforms to find frequency response of a system. Here we have simplified first Z transforms, then we have converted that Z transforms into Fourier transforms to find out the magnitude and phase response. So this transform is useful to map the time domain sequence into continuous function of a frequency variable. The DTFT and the Z transforms are applicable to any arbitrary sequences, and this DTFT, that means Fourier transform equation, is this. We all know simple basic equation. और इसी को मैं e to the power j omega को I can write as z for Z transform. So I will get x of z is equal to summation x of n z to the power minus n. We all know this thing. And we can convert Z transform into Fourier transforms very easily.